Lovely.
Welcome to another episode of the Angels Positivity and Love Show. Incredible guests the world over with amazing insights, experiences, and much more to share with all of us. Coming back to us today from Madrid, a very special guest. She's been around the block. She's all about consciousness, awareness, love. She's spent a lot of time in India, a lot of time all over the globe. She pays attention. She's been growing her awareness for a very long time now. We all want to grow our awareness, not our thinking. We want to do more here, less here. Good luck with that, humanity, but that's the point of the show. And I'll add one extra thing. She's super lit up. She does have a South African, European background, but she's super lit up. It's her high vibration, her big heart that she's here to share with all of us, and she does a great job of that. She's also just recently back from India with a little bit of difficulty with everything going on in the Middle East, trying to get direct air travel back to Madrid, Spain. Tina Lindhard, great to have you back on the show. Tina, great to see you again.
Oh, Michael, it's a real pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Well, you've seen a lot, done a lot, and I'm going to say know a lot as well. Basic knowing, wisdom, universal knowing. You've just through experience acquired a lot of perspective. How would you like to tackle what's happening on planet Earth right now, and what is the opportunity for growth for all of us, for mankind? What's going on?
I think personally we're in a turning point. So there's a lot more light, but there's also a lot more darkness. And I think, what all that's going on, it's an opportunity to wake up, for people to get out of the rut, to get out the belief that everything's can carry on absolutely normally as it was before. You know, they've just got to accept change is the name of the game, and they're part of that change, and they can make a meaningful change to have a very different future.
And isn't it possible that even super complex stuff that we wouldn't want to sign up for, we wouldn't agree with, even super complex stuff out there on the globe is also playing a part, a very big part in all of this?
I think so, because I think it's the super complex stuff is that make people realize that things, one and one doesn't make two. And it's about time they had a closer look about what's going on to realize that often they're just puppets. Yeah. And, you know, you can't be a puppet and make a meaningful change in this planet. And we're not going to get meaningful changes very quickly, but we can sow seeds. And that's up to us. So we've got to be really the people who instigate a new future that will come eventually on the planet. Mm.
Well, I'll try to make you laugh. Frank Sinatra had a couple movies in Hollywood where he played, I think it was Tony Rome, the detective down in Miami. It's a great detective series. There's a lot of mafia and all that. And so,
Mm.
speaking of which, there's a lot of organizations, we'll call them syndicates or whatever, doing whatever organizational people do, maybe complex or bad or whatever around the globe. There's a lot of that going on. How do we, is it really, are we dependent on outside organizations, countries to fix everything? Or is it more our own hearts and tending what's here and our own growth is what you're talking about?
Absolutely. We've mainly mankind has done this journey from the heart to the head. We become super rational, intellectual beings. That's what's prized in our society. You know, uh, the more degrees you've got, the better it is. But we've really lost our way to our humble heart, where we can get spiritual guidance and where we connect with another. And not only another person, but where we can connect with animals, with plants, and the whole, and even planets. I mean, we all have guidance inside us. And when you realize that we're all interconnected, we can't operate as single individual beings any longer, not selfish beings.
Animal consciousness. What's one of your favorite animals that you can't get enough of?
Well, I've always loved the horse. Mm.
You've been intuitive for a really long time. If people want to check out your first appearance on the series, it'll be in the fine print below the video. I've got a link there. You've shared a lot of wonderful stories, a lot of your training and your journey. How do you want to describe how that intuitiveness, the skill sets through the heart, the connection to all there is, the connection to the universe, how is that available to everyone? Everyone has a pretty functioning, pretty workable, pretty existing heart, yes?
Yeah, but we're talking about the spiritual heart, Michael. So for people, I teach a meditation method known as Arca, and it's really doing the journey from the mind, bringing our conscious awareness back to the heart area. Now, it's only 15 centimeters, but you're going to actually turn over all your past that you haven't integrated. So it's not an easy journey, but it's the most exciting journey one can ever do. And it's only when you start doing that journey that you begin to vibrate at the heart level, and then you vibrate with other people who's also on the heart level. And it's just it's a celebration, it's a dance of hearts. And so it's available to all of us, but not everybody has got the guts to do it. Because as I said, you have to really look at your personality, because this is going beyond your personality into your true self. So you've really got to be prepared to see aspects of yourself that you don't often want to see. So it takes courage.
And I'm going to go back to one of the earlier topics. So there's a lot of complexities, a lot of details out there, a lot of harm happening, and a lot of people telling others how to behave, act, what to think, what not to think, what
Yeah.
not to do. Juxtapose that with the other side, the heart. What is this all about again? What are we talking about? Compassion, kindness, gentleness?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what it's really all about. And when you come from the mind always says this or that. It just gives you two options. But the heart will tell you there's many options. So it's not dictatorial in any way. It's it opens possibility, and it always is a possibility you've never thought of before. So it takes you quite surprised when the heart starts answering you, because you say, "Wow, that's really neat," and and it gives you a solution that you couldn't have got from your thinking mind.
Would it be fair to say that half of one's inner voice, one's own intuition they've had their whole life, is actually maybe their relatives, angels, other loving beings, or their higher self soul coming through? Not the voice that says hop in that Jaguar that's not yours and drive 200
No,
kilometers miles an hour that way. Um,
yeah.
yeah, talk to us about that intuitive voice, how you're already connected.
Well, you can channel others, but then there's something much beyond that, because we all, to me, it's the one in the all and the all in the one. So it's really pure consciousness beginning to guide us in life. So, but that to get to there, you've got to really humble the ego. Um, and I always think Jesus was, he taught by example. When he went into Jerusalem on a donkey, he didn't choose a stallion, he chose a donkey. Why? Because you can't get to these higher states if you think you're somebody. And really, this is where I like the Bhagavad Gita, because they remind it, you cannot, you can do, but you're not responsible for the actions of what you do. You can't be attached to outcomes. So that's when you hand over and to higher consciousness. So yeah, I'm the spiritual pathways. You think you know something one day, and then next day you decide you don't know anything, and you're back to square one again. So
I'm I'm
yeah,
shocked. I'm shocked. Tina, I'm going to light some sage here in Texas. We've done this before, off
yeah.
camera and on. People can catch the smell of sage, but you can catch flowers, smoke, tobacco. Just ask your angels, the universe, to make it nice. Um, Here we go, Tina. I'm going to light some sage. It's a abalone shell Crate and Barrel tea light in there, blue. Some people taste it right away. If you're hyper intuitive, you're probably already getting it in Madrid. Just a short hop, skip, and a jump away. Okay, here's the smoke though, if you need more help. And people can ask angels to help them out of their head, into their hearts to catch more sage. Are you already getting it in Madrid?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to snuff it out. I got a lot of smoke going on.
Okay.
If you don't mind asking flowers to come in, could you get some flowers too?
Yeah, I got violets.
Oh, and
And I
I'll
didn't know whether that was the color, but as immediately you saw that, violets came to me.
and I'll put up one photo of one angel. It'll be Charlotte. If she could give us a topic or a particular vibrational direction with the topic, that would be great. What's Charlotte saying we should talk about next?
I still got heart energy.
Okay, let's talk about heart energy and how can we cultivate more inner calm, more peace, more fun, and more higher vibes.
Well, in the Indian system, there's various ways to train yourself to get to higher consciousness. And the one way is through karma yoga. So by doing good actions to other, we start increasing our vibration because many people don't resonate with karma. But even in the Christian Bible, they say you will reap what you sow, and you can't have action without a reaction. So at least even if we're not highly spiritual, but at least we can start being kinder to others. And I think that's where it starts, Michael. You then as you realize some of the laws of the universe, and then you want to start going deeper. And I just feel we are naturally spiritual beings. I mean, we are naturally spiritual beings, but we can believe we're naturally spiritual beings. So we start operating a frequency, and women in general are much closer to their hearts than men because they've got to look after their offspring. And a child doesn't say, "Hey, I need a bit of milk now." Most interaction between the mother and the child is done through intuition. She can tell what the child needs and this will carry on throughout the child's life. We often don't give that credence to our mothers, um, and we don't give that gratitude that we really should, but it's often when they leave that we begin to realize, how important a mother is. And a mother love, of course, is what we're talking about, the caring, whether it's to another human being, whether it's to an animal, whether it's to the plant kingdom. And that's so when we can get back to that caring consciousness, whether we're male or female, um, we really start operating on the heart level.
The universe, angels, other loving beings, they're available 24/7 for people to interact with, listen to, ask questions of, get answers from, get hugs, and more. But can you address, let's notch it down a little bit, day-to-day life? Aren't we all interacting with the universe directly, but in a more one-way sort of method? We're outbounding our energy without any expectation of hearing an answer or understanding what we're doing. We're more blind to the process. We're just at a one-dimensional instead of a
Yeah.
three-dimensional. Talk to us about how everyone's already doing it. They just need to pay attention more or grow their awareness.
Yeah, when you realize it really is a mystical universe, and we're getting signs and signals all the time, but we don't see them, and even though what we were talking about beforehand, that I got stuck in India with the war that was going on. But really, when I look back, those extra days I had to spend there were really necessary. It completed my journey in a way which if I'd flown out on the due date, it wouldn't have been completed like that. So, everything does happen for a reason. And um, although I really wanted to get back earlier, I in the end I accepted fully that I was in higher hands, and uh, I just had to twig what I had still had to learn while I was there.
And you could not go through Doha, right? It was Ethiopia
Yeah,
that you went through in the end to get
yeah,
back to Spain. Interesting. Let's do
yeah.
this. Can you just tick down the basics with me? Do angels exist, Tina?
Yes, definitely. You know, whether you call them angels or whether you call them higher beings, I don't mind. But there's certainly beings that are, I mean, we don't only have one dimension. There are many dimensions in the universe. So uh, people of different frequency have got to different vibrational levels. So if we want to call them angels, fine. If we wanted to call them enlightened beings or whatever we want to call them. But yes, and their I think their main concern is trying to get us to increase our vibration. And so when they come out of love, they want to help. I mean, they are helping us because they want us to increase our vibration. So it's us who are blind to all the help that that's out there to help us to grow and really blossom. Because we don't have to live like we're living on planet Earth. We can live in a completely different way. Um, and one day we will again. Yeah.
Before I ask you about a dreamtime experience that has is coming to mind in a little bit, maybe an experience with an angel or something incredible, a vision. I'm going to get back to that. Everyone's already plugged in right now, whether they know it or not, whether they're doing the rat race or not. And I know for some it's a leap to go to asking a question, getting an answer from loving beings, or seeing full on. We'll try to flip it a little bit. We'll flip that pancake. What are you allowing for daily, or what are you allowing for more daily? That's kind of the rub on all of this. Allow for more. Can you tackle that first before you share some sort of a dream, vision, or an angel showing in human form in the past? Uh, what's this all about? Allowing more daily? Talk to us about that.
I think it's to put the mystery back into life again. You know, once you accept that life also is a mystery, then then you don't know what's going to turn up. You know, you have to be open to anything. So then you become much more aware of that whatever turns up has got a special meaning beyond what you think, what what you were expecting. But if you've already programmed, you know, how your day should be, I mean, then you only get disgusted when it uh, it doesn't complete what you thought it was going to be. But if you think it's a mystery, then you say, ah, I wonder why that happened. What's the teaching in that for me? So you're immediately open to turning around your framework to see it in a different way. And yes, the angels all the time. Um, yeah, what's coming to me because I was trying to buy this ticket through Ethiopia, and I had a lot of problems because I had a new Indian phone number and not the Spanish one to pay the card with paying the price that I had to pay. And I tried for 7 hours to try to get this through, and I tried different credit cards. And then somebody came into the room, and I said, "Look, can I ask you a question? Because there's some different ways of paying on the Indian system." And I said, "Can I do that? Because it's just not accepting my credit card." So he said, "No, you can't because you haven't got an Indian bank account." So he said, "Can I see what you're doing?" So I said, "Sure, you know." So he looked at it and he said, "You know, when you put a card number in India, we'll put 03 or 0630 for 2030. If you don't put 2030, it doesn't take it in the Indian system." So after 7 hours, and I said, "Do you mind if I kiss you? You know, this is not really done in India that you don't go around kissing people." But I was just, he just was my angel. He
Hmm.
just was sent to me. because I just knew I had to get on that plane. So I gave this gorgeous man a kiss and he accepted it happily. Well, after 7 hours, wouldn't you do it as well?
Yes. Which Indian figure, deity, unconditional love being is coming in right now? If you don't mind closing your eyes and allowing, there are a lot of them, including passed over human teachers, gurus. If you could allow one to come in with a particular message, is it Ganesha, Indra, Lakshmi, the Divine Mother? Who's coming in right now?
Well, uh, it's actually Lakshmi that immediately took my attention, so I'm quite surprised because I'm much more the Divine Mother and I'm much more Kali than Lakshmi. But
What is she reminding us all?
oh yes, she's reminding us of of the lotus, of the Padma, of the of of beauty, of generosity, of yeah, again of love. Definitely Lakshmi is, but she is the favored figure of the female deities.
Hmm. I've,
But it's also, I just have to rub this in. It's really India, we've got all these beautiful female deities, but really it's still a very patriarchal society.
hmm.
So one thing they can worship all these deities, but when it comes to the treatment of women, um, I feel it could be much improved.
Like on every single front on planet Earth, for everything, there is room for expansion, improvement, growth, and even some more sparkle. With that, I have an angel named Minn or Minwala. My
Yeah.
guardian angel, Dr. Karen Wyatt's guardian angel in episode 110, August 30th of 2024. She shared meeting her when she was tucked in bed as an 8-year old. I don't remember the age. Safe house, safe bed, all in white angel at the foot of her bed. And after she went away, the angel did. She knew she wanted to be a doctor at a very young age. She wanted to be a doctor. And here she is interviewing for episode 110. She's been on since then as a retired physician. And so that's her guardian angel. She got to meet her on Redondo Beach, California as a human for 30 minutes. Here's Minn. She's Minn, like Minnesota, Lakota Sioux word for
Yeah.
water. She's light waves of energy in water. What's her message for everyone?
For me, it's saying don't be afraid of those that don't resemble you.
And if you could close your eyes and maybe put your hands out off camera, any which way that's something new for your body position. If you could just close your eyes, breathe through your mouth a little, and catch ocean coming in or India and ocean, something really pleasant and reassuring, and have one more series of messages come in or a reminder for everybody.
Okay. So with that, I immediately went to South Africa,
Ooh.
and it was funny when I was in South Africa for the turn of the century, and I saw the old year out on the Atlantic side and the new year in on the Indian side, which is the warm water, because in Cape Town you've got the two oceans. And I don't know why I was taken there, but maybe it's new beginnings from the east, and in a way that's what we're talking about. Um,
And I have another angel for you that'll help explain it a little. Her name is Heather. She makes hearts in her photographs. As soon as I can just, I have too many photographs. So I took photos of angels maybe 10 or 14 years ago. I used to hand the camera to folks. You can just see with your eyes open, though, angels standing there or India figures. There's Heather one way for one heart. There's um, there's another heart
mhm.
and there's another heart. But here's the heart that's by my Japanese Tori, my first Austin, Texas home. I've got the Japanese Tori in a different photo, but there she is above it outside. And it's a heart that way. Even
Oh,
her name,
yes.
yeah, even her name is
Yeah.
the word heart rearranged, the letters with a few extra.
Yeah.
She'll come across as an Amazonian goddess with maybe a spear or a pole, or a woman out of an African village. Same thing though, pretty impressive. She'll bring you, and you've met her, I think, a long time ago. Close your eyes and have her bring you Cape Town, the soil, and Africa for you,
Yeah.
and see her full on, and have her tidy up that a little bit, what you just experienced. Have her add to it a little bit more.
Okay. She immediately brought in plants, which was very interesting because I, if you don't know Cape Town and the Cape Peninsula, it's very unique. It's got this protea, which has got the various sizes of these flowers, including the king protea, which uh, is like this size. But protea comes from changing forms. It's the god of changing forms. So if I add that to the sun rising in the east of this new millennium, um, somehow we connected to changing forms. So put that together, and I'm not sure where we go, but those are the sort of messages that I've got. And I'd say the protea, the whole family is very unique. It was also you'll find of the same family in Australia, because when it was one land between Africa and Australia, Gondwana land, so there's some proteas in Australia and most in South Africa, but they're very different forms these days. Maybe that sort of reminds me of, even though we can split off from one another, there's a tremendous survival tendency in nature. Yes, yes, beautiful. I grew these in the Canary Islands. I had a protea farm.
Oh, I did not know this. This is
It was
cool. I will have four archangels come in. It'll be Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel. Rainbow pie slices. If you could
oh,
just have them bring you a memory of the Protea farm, but
yeah,
that's just flavoring. Let them talk about mankind's growth and expansion. It's here, and certain stuff has to work itself out. It's like you're cleaning out the garage. You are
yeah,
going to toss out some stuff along the way. That's the whole point of cleaning the garage.
yeah.
Let them share a little in a upbeat, positive way for mankind right now.
Well, I immediately you brought that up. I mean, it's beautiful. I got more cosmic.
Hmm.
Um, and whenever anybody asks me what I miss about Africa, I'll say the vast night sky, because you could lie on the grass and just look up in the sky. You know, Africa could never put God into a church because it was too vast, you went forever. And whereas the night sky in Europe, I always feels like a dome, so I'm not surprised. God was restricted to a church. Um, so when we put this together, I think the the vastness of possibilities when we can really connect and appreciate the vastness of consciousness. There's infinite possibilities, and it's up to us.
Is it okay to bring in a cosmic guide? There's so many different types, from light beings to a woman from Sirius, not trying to sound too serious, to a Lyran, Arcturian, Pleiadian. It goes on and on. A woman from Andromeda, a woman from Orion. Angels have been giving their backstory since last year. Only some. Joy is very cosmic.
Yeah, of
Archangels are very cosmic, but
course.
Charlotte has an Orion background. Minn has a serious background. Again, not trying to be too serious.
Yeah,
Um, the woman from Sirius is interesting. She wears a green flowing outfit, almost looks completely human. Very elegant, very amazing, tight with earth forests and forest consciousness. So maybe it could be her with your permission. If you'll close your eyes, let her come in. She'll be wearing a green flowing outfit. She has pinpoints of light floating all around her. Each pinpoint of light is Christ consciousness, universal love, diamonds, awareness, whatever you want to call it. And she'll come in, she'll start sharing. They're like potato chips or M&Ms, those little pinpoints of light. They're beautiful. She'll make her own introduction and let her share something with you beyond it, the energetic love, compassion, awareness, consciousness, universal love. She'll share words, English, so you can relate something back for our audience. But just say, yes, you've got her.
Yeah, I have
And
her.
let Earth consciousness force, if I said it right way, forest consciousness on Earth come in also to waltz you. It'll be two dance partners. And if you don't mind describing her for us, I haven't had anybody do that in a long time. How do you see her? And she can present a little differently to each person. How do you see her? And is she not fun or what?
Well, I saw her um not so much as fun, but as a figure that's there available to us to really keep us on track. You know, the spiritual path is not easy, and you can often just uh, lack that energy to carry on to get to the next level. And she's there for us.
Hmm.
You know, I felt she's there to just give you that extra boost when, because often we just between vibrations, you know, we're higher than the vibration we were before, but we can't quite get to that. And this is really quite quantum stuff, you know, because you vibrate in different orbits, and to get to the next orbit, it costs us, and you can get very tired, you know, because and she's there to actually help us make that leap to another level.
If you could put a hand out off camera, like you're getting €100, but not from this end, and let one of your loving figures come in and hold your hand. It could be a passed over relative, it could be an angel, it could be a figure from India, it could be your favorite passed over guru. Who is stepping forward? There's a little bit of a bingo contest on the other side. It might not be your number one usual figure. Who is coming in to hold your hand? It could be Audrey Hepburn, Joy the Angel. Whose energy are you feeling in your hand right now?
You know, this is really surprising because it's a Catholic priest I know, which I don't normally think of, but he really showed up beautifully when my husband was passing, and um, you know, he just showed up. Yeah. So
Aw.
he really was amazing. You know, our family, uh, you know, my husband was really a very staunch Catholic in that. And if I'm with somebody who's passing, you know, I'm supporting him in his tradition. And this beautiful priest came to our house every day, and they'd sing the Regina Coeli in Latin together. It was beautiful. It was amazing, you know, Michael. And I was so pleased for my husband. So why he showed up now, I don't know, but he has.
Well, I'm going to put Mary up and I'll do the traditional picture that everybody has to have, especially if you're from Ireland. I've learned the hard way. Here's the classic. Lock her in this way, but I'm still going to put up a modern photo. I like modern. Here's her one way if you have to have it
Oh,
if you're watching from Wales.
yeah,
There she is. But I've got a modern one and it's really cool because it's a historical photo. I'm borrowing somebody from like whenever. Let this photo, the eyes will glow more. The smile that isn't but close will smile more. A photo can't move, but it totally can. And if you'll permit rainbow glitter in the room around you, compassion, but maybe you have to have it other ways. I mean, there's no one way for this. Let her compassion come in. And to
yeah,
quote three Native American chiefs about Mary, she's love, she's everything we need. If we all had her faith and trust, there'd be no more need for fear or worry. Here's Mary the modern way. And if you don't mind letting this photo start expanding, and if you don't mind allowing consciousness, light, and love to come in, she once said, and there's very little I can remember, but 10 years ago, Mary said, love is a constant. Open your eyes to find love. And I have loved that ever since.
yeah.
Are you seeing light around you?
Around me.
You can get light in your room, little sparkles, glitter.
Oh, okay.
You won't have to vacuum it out of the carpet tomorrow. They should just disappear after a little while. They're pure consciousness. Let her bring light into the room. And I'll tell one dad joke. Bert and Ernie, Sesame Street. Bert offers Ernie ice cream. What's Ernie say? He says, "Sure, Bert." And you can feel a hand on your shoulder, or one hand on each shoulder, or the small of your back, or you can put
Yeah.
a hand out and have her hold your hand. Let her come in full love.
Hmm.
And
Oh,
are
and
you
now I'm getting a tingling. Yeah.
good? I didn't do it. Don't blame me. Don't blame Canada. Definitely blame Angels and Mary.
Okay.
What'd you get from Mary just now?
Um, I would say more Shaktipat. Hmm.
Ooh. Can you explain Shaktipat for somebody who doesn't know the term? It's like Satori or Samadhi, sort of.
It's when you're with a higher being, they can ignite your spiritual pathway. Uh, I've had that done to me in the past, but it was like I was given a further boost on my spiritual pathway. So I was given Shaktipat. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to show some light against this background. Blue sky is number one, but you can do it against anything or see it on your dog, a tree, another person, back of their heads, auras, the force from Star Wars. Are you ready to see a little bit of light here? I think we've done this before. And then I'm going to go wider and bigger when you see a little bit of light. I'll go wider and bigger and let whichever loving figures make an object in there. It could be a Merkaba. We've had two red cardinals. We've had two phoenixes. Jesus's face, we've had about 10 people, including a mind, body, spirit panel. I think it was like 22 or 23 with Paul Sugar
Yeah.
and Marilyn Hughes. They got to see jointly Jesus's face, but it'll be whatever it is. More importantly, you get another dad joke. What's the only flower found on the human face? What's the only flower found on the human face? Tulips.
Ah.
Okay, here's a little bit of light. And what are you seeing between my fingers for like a little wisp?
Yeah, I can see a light.
What
Mhm.
color is it?
But this one is a white with a slightly blue-violet tinge.
Okay, and then let angels, loving beings, the woman from Sirius make it much more fun. What are you getting now for more light?
Okay, so there's some yellow that's come in. Um, I just keep seeing a lion's face at the back. I-
And I'll stop now and sit down, but if before I do, could you cup your hands like you're in the shower catching water off camera in your
Yeah,
lap? Just cup your hands and catch the light that's here. Let it come through the screen to you in Madrid and start
yeah.
feeling the light and then see the light when you're ready. Look down and I'll sit down at that point when you've got it. Enjoy it in your hands. Let all your Indian guides assist you and enjoy it privately. You don't have to share anything out loud.
Hmm.
And then bring it into your heart when you're ready for a nice hug. Oh,
This
and
reminds
yeah.
this reminds me of Arti, when you go to an Indian temple and then they they bring the flame round whatever figure it is, and then they bring the flame to you to put in your heart or this, so
Ooh,
this is
so
really
definitely explain that one more time because I have never seen it. So I don't know
oh,
about it. I
you've
don't
never
know about it.
seen, when there's a puja in an Indian temple, then before they start, before they start interacting with the people who are there, then they'll pass this lighted flame round the figure, and that's also when bells are rung, because bells and that wake up the deities, and then they'll come and the same light they'll come in front of you, and then you take the light into your heart or this, so you're receiving light that has been blessed in front of a deity.
Tina, can we get a original? You haven't said it before, at least in the last 5 years since you were 35. Um, a phrase, a mantra, a reminder for us all to be in our hearts. I'm going to put two angels up just to assist, not that you need any assistance at all. I'm going to put up Gabriel. Oh, I'll put up three. Mack, don't call her Mackenzie, everything plants, animals, and nature. Gabriel, the Archangel, and Charlotte, if you could get a quick little mantra phrase, catchphrase to share with all of us, but if you could say it 3 times for us, let me know when you're ready to go.
I think I would say Jai Shri Krishna Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Namaha.
And in English, what's it mean?
Well, that's adoration to Shri is normally the sign of a divine being, and Krishna, which is recognized as the Godhead in some of the Indian traditions. And it's strange because it's not my figure, but that's what came there. So Krishna was their um, deity that also took the form of um, the one with the flute, that's done in a certain way, and the cows, and um, so he's and when his mother opened his mouth and looked in, the universe was there. So there's lots of stories within stories of Krishna.
And with your permission, we'll bring Krishna in. Now, this is going to be a very artsy drawing of Krishna, and we can go for a more modern at your end. But I'm going to just put it up once, this
Oh,
version.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, very
Okay.
much
But if
Krishna.
I'm getting, I don't know how to explain this. This is off camera. If you don't mind turning a hand up, but a hand down somehow, whatever comfortable pose it is at your end, and I'm staying out of this, let Krishna actually fully come in. Divine being, fun, I say fun every other word, so ignore me. But let him come in and share lots of love, light, brilliance, and rivulets, waves, ever expanding waves of awareness and consciousness. When enough is enough, come back and share words with us
Okay.
and get a very physical something. It could be a bell struck or unstruck. Let's make a fun reference to the Unstruck Bell book by S. Warren Eknath, if I got it right, or the other way around. I always mix up the names. Eknath S. Warren might be. So catch something, 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 and something, and then come back and you'll have something to share at the word level, at the human level.
I just get courage and persistency.
I like it. You can't beat that.
No.
What's a final reminder for us all? There's a lot happening. There's a lot of war. There's a lot of politics. There's a lot of, hey, I was just cheering for this group, but now it looks like this group might be a bunch of bad guys. And there's a lot of corruption going on and all sorts of weird stuff. Nothing is quite what it seems if we're talking human dynamics and a lot of organizational stuff. How do we keep our chin up and our chest up? And how do we go like this and remember we're love first and we can have more fun still?
Well, once we can recognize um, the divine of no matter what name we want to give to it or what culture we come from, that's when we start raising our consciousness. We're not only in a material world, and all that's happening is part of our karmic destiny. But we can create a new future for us. We are able, we can't, not everything's in our hand. But when I was teaching meditation to these little kids at school, 360 children every morning, I'd say, look at your hands and your destiny is there, and you can choose to do something better every day. You can work harder, you can be kinder. There's so many things we can do. And so if we get bogged down by the big picture, we can get very despondent. But if we remember every day we can do something a little bit better, be a little bit kinder, be a little bit more generous, be a little bit more understanding, and that's what's going to change the world. It's not the big things, and it's up to each and every one of us.
Ooh, focus on improvement, not results. I like that. I'm gonna whoosh you a little energy from Texas to Spain. I'll just put my hand up as a connection first. Tina, if
Yeah.
you don't mind putting your hand up, what do you feel first this way before I do any whooshing and blowing through the microphone? What do you feel right now, palm to palm? And only love and above, not my bill paying side and with angels
Yeah.
chaperoning us.
Well, I feel a lot of energy, especially in the middle of the hand. Yeah.
Okay, and if you'll just kind of stay the way you are, I'm gonna push. I'll look like a goose with my wings flapping or a swan, or I'm cheating at ping pong with two paddles. Here we go. There's a microphone here, so if you're wondering why I'm blowing down, here comes the first whoosh. Did you get that okay?
Yeah.
And if you don't mind putting a few words, you can keep it to yourself, but what'd you get?
Well, I could feel the energy come in and activate more my hand than beforehand.
Okay.
But I just found it fascinating that you actually chose the swan or the goose because those are the female totem. The eagle is the male totem and the female totem. So,
This
so I really appreciated that.
I love it. And I have hummingbirds at my feeder. It's that time already, halfway through March in Texas. We're taping in March right now. It's already basically summer, one day away from full summer till November. Here comes the second whoosh. No two whooshes have to be the same. And
Yeah.
remember, a smile changes any moment. So people at home, start laughing for no reason. Smile, smile more, think less. Here it comes. Uh, okay, and what did you get there? Was it different? Was it bigger? Was it sparklier?
It was very different and it activated my nose.
Okay, now the final one, and then we're going to have you close it out with one last message, and then we say goodbye. But here
Okay.
comes the final one, and it's go big, go home. You're already home, so why not go big? Here we go. Tina Lindhard in Madrid. What did you just get? You got to use some words on the last one.
Oh, well, that was also very much the face, but my eyes and they actually began to flicker and that. So, uh, I'd say more activation of the Anja chakra, um, which once because everything's interconnected, if one person does one little change in their life, they make all of us do that little change. So there's a ripple effect. So, you know, everybody who's got the courage to just do a little bit more on themselves, they not only is doing it for them, they're doing it for the whole of humanity. So all I can say is just keep pushing on ahead, keep trust, see the mystery in everything, and just love a little bit more every day. Mm.
Totally brilliant. Say yes to love, say yes to the heart, say yes to the universe, and show love always. Tina Lindhard, you're doing it. I love interacting with you. I've told you off camera, come back anytime you want to tape. So I expect to see you much sooner than we think. Because a reminder to everybody, this isn't about more thinking or thinking. It's about a little less thinking and a little more heart, which again, Tina is embodying for all of us. Thank you, Tina, for being on the show.
Michael, thank you very much for inviting me. It's always really great being here with you. Thank you. And thank you to all the angels and all the holy beings that are part of this as well. Thank you.
I don't know how to stop it. That's okay. They changed all the buttons. Oh, there it is.